right, Mogo Mogo. Looking at which box is gone, Karen is the last person voted out, last tribal council. For the first time in this game, tribal immunity is not up for grabs. You are playing for immunity for yourself. Both tribes will be going to tribal council this Sunday. And we will be participating in a challenge that they do on the actual show. We are going to be doing a color memorization game. I have my fancy Survivor color cube. These 6 colors are green, red, purple, yellow, orange, and blue. I will be reading a list of colors, and once I am finished, we will go through and I will say reveal, and in order, you will have to reveal each color one by one, and if you get it wrong, you are out of the game. Turn your camera off. Last person standing from each tribe wins individual immunity. We will start off easy. Here we go. Green. Blue. Red. Orange. All right. Everyone reveal the first color. Everyone says green. Everyone is correct. All right, reveal the next one. Everyone says blue except for Phil. I think you said red. Either you are okay. He's just accepting defeat. Please turn your camera off. Next color. Reveal. Everyone said red. Everyone is correct. And then reveal the final color, please. It is orange. All right, we are moving on to round 2. Blue. Purple, green, yellow, purple, red. All right, reveal the first color. Everyone said blue. Everyone is correct. Second color, purple.
Purple.
All right, next color. If everyone said green, everyone is correct. Next color. 2 people have purple. Those 2 are incorrect. I need you to turn off your video and audio. Next color. The next color is purple. Everyone, wait, Connor, I didn't see yours. Okay, purple. Drew, did you change out your color? I believe you had yellow first. Yeah. I was already gonna have to talk to you because I think you were putting your cards in the order that I was saying it beforehand. But Drew, you are out. Please turn off your video. And then reveal your final color of the order. We have 1 yellow, 1 orange. Everyone else says red. It is red. Ben and Krista are out of the challenge. On Mogo Mogo, Brian, Connor, and Sean are left competing. On Old Saboga, we have a showdown between Shannon and Zach for individual immunity. I will now be reading the 3rd round. Purple, yellow, yellow, blue, yellow, red, green, blue. Everyone, I can't tell what you're putting.
Sorry, I'm gonna try and do that again. It was supposed to be purple.
Okay, next one. Yep, go. Good job, everyone, you all got it. All right, next color. Everyone is correct, next color. Brian has green, either he is correct or everyone else is wrong. He is incorrect. Brian is out. It is now a showdown between Connor and Sean on Mogo Mogo.
Oh, come on.
Next color. Correct. Next color. We have 3 reds and 1 green. Either Sean is correct and has 1 immunity, or Connor is correct and he has 1 immunity. The next color was red. Connor, you have 1 individual immunity for Mogo Mogo. Can the 2 Mogo Mogo members please shut off your cameras? We will have a showdown for Saboga. All right, next color. One of you is right, one of you is wrong. The next color was green. Zach, you have won individual immunity for Saboga Tribe. Congratulations. Everyone else, I got nothing for you. Head back to camp. Last night, I won individual immunity. Woke up this morning and in my bag found this beauty. I think production did a great job. At the surface, it kind of looks like 8 random lanyards and necklaces from around a house thrown together, but real Survivor fans know that it isn't, so that's nice.
Yeah, live to see another day, idle intact, and we're going to Tribal Council again, which, as I've said, I mean, it's fine. I'm gonna go to all of them, and then I'm gonna have a good story at the end, so whatever.
Yeah, the challenge went well. It came down to me and Shannon, so ultimately it didn't matter who won, but Shannon and I are both pretty competitive. I could tell she wasn't letting up. I felt bad though, because after the challenge I told her, oh, if you had gone one more, I wouldn't have gotten it, because I had no idea, but I had the next one memorized too, so if it wasn't gonna be that one, it would have been the next one. So now it's just up to me, Shannon, and Krista to decide whether or not Ben or Drew is going home.
So now again, it's looking like, all right, is it gonna be Ben or is it gonna be Drew? Again, pros and cons for both that we'll have to weigh this week. I'm gonna fight for Ben, as I've been doing this since we started this game.
We have a decision to make on our tribe. We can either vote out Drew or we can vote out Ben, with me, Zach, and Shannon as a core 3, but not making that super public. The argument for voting out Drew is that he has no stake in this game. He doesn't really care. He definitely is a number, but he's Zach's number. Whereas Ben has been with us for a while, but again, he's Shannon's number. So neither of these people are really my first-hand number. They're more my second-hand numbers. So again, I find myself in the middle.
So I decided to approach this decision using economics and game theory, because that's all I know. I'm assuming that Mogo Mogo is going to shake out where Connor, Sean, Sammy, and Brian stick together and decide whether or not to vote out Rob or Phil. So our decision is then conditional on the fact that one of those two is going to go home. So what I did was basically worked through the relationships that I would have and the relationships that Sean would have given each of the 4 outcomes. So the reason I'm looking at Sean is because I feel like he's probably the most likely to turn on me, try to make a big move, at least quickly in the merge. So what I did was looked at each relationship that everyone would have. If I felt like in a merge situation, the relationship would be really strong, then I gave that person a 1. If I felt like it was gonna be kind of weak, like maybe they'd waver, half, and then if it wasn't going to be a relationship like Sean and Rob, then it would be a 0. So in doing so, we have this game. So I'm Saboga, Sean is Mogo Mogo. So all the blue numbers represent the amount of relationships that I would have if both of those people were voted off, and the black is for Sean. If they think that we're gonna vote out Ben, then they're deciding between voting out Phil, having 3.5 relationship, or Rob, having 4. So it's optimal to vote out Rob. If they think we're gonna vote out Drew, then again, they're looking at a 3.5 versus 4. Again, I'm just assuming that Sean's real only enemy is Rob here, so it's always gonna be optimal for him to vote out Rob. So because of that, there's a dominant strategy for Mogo Mogo to vote out Rob. They're never gonna vote out Phil. At least they shouldn't. Yeah, okay, between Ben and Drew, who is it optimal to vote out, given that Rob is gonna be voted out? For me, and I think for Shannon also, it actually is gonna be better if we vote out Ben and keep Drew.
Do I want to go and vote out Ben, who I trust less than Drew, and could potentially go and work with Rob and Phil or whoever on the other tribe, since he has been on the bottom of our alliance and he knows that? Or do I go with Drew, who is honestly a liability because he doesn't even know what idols are? He doesn't know about clue, like he doesn't know anything, and he could spill any information at any time when information in this game is extremely valuable.
2 days ago, I was very high on voting out Ben. I felt like if we're going into a merge situation with Rob and Phil both staying, or even just one of them staying, it made sense to get out Ben. But then I started thinking about the perceptions that other tribes are gonna have. And honestly, I feel like right now, everyone has these battle scars and wounds from difficult decisions they've had to make or allies that have been cut. And right now, I don't have anything. Right now, I'm going in clean. If I go in with Drew, it's gonna be very apparent that I have very fortified relationships that need to be dealt with. So as tough as it is, I think the best move for me tonight is going to be to give myself some self-inflicted battle wounds and cut out Drew.
Well, look at that. We've done it again. We are voting Drew tonight. What can I say? Hard work pays off. I am getting very good at the very, very, very subtle art of manipulation, where you just kind of keep listening to people, validating their ideas, and then saying, but have we thought about it this way? Until slowly and eventually you get them to do what they want.
Well, another week and another tribal vote. Still trying to dance between the raindrops. So far, the chatter seems to be that we're gonna all make a fairly unanimous move. I really thought I was gonna be an easy target here, and it doesn't sound like that's the way other people see it, so either I'm about to get blindsided or I'm gonna just get lucky and skate this week, but we'll see. Really a lot of people talking about when the merge is gonna happen and how strategies are gonna play out after that. So if I get through and we go to a merge, this is great. Things really will line up in a pretty clean fashion, but if I don't, then, you know, them's the breaks. And we'll see how it goes.
We are pretty sure the merge is coming, probably tonight. So I'm feeling good about this group that I'm going in with, and feel like I have a lot of good momentum. And yeah, just ready to take on that merge. Let's go.
First individual immunity challenge win. I'm honestly just so happy that someone from the original Mogo Mogo got it. I don't think this upcoming tribal council is going to be too complex. I think we should be able to control it a little bit, especially with this immunity. But I mean, this is my first one, so we'll kind of just see how it pans out.
So before the immunity challenge, Rob and I were talking, and it seems like the new Mogo Mogo tribe, you know, had a sort of easy vote in Connor, and he has some pretty strong relationships to the new Saboga tribe, and so it was just he's the person, easy peasy, like, let's be done with it. And so what does Connor go and do? He goes and wins the immunity challenge. If that isn't the essential Survivor experience, narrative, then I don't know what is. I mean, saying that's the person we're gonna get, and then that person wins immunity, and there's nothing we can do to get him out. So now we kind of have to figure out what we're gonna do, who we're gonna vote for. It seems like possibly shifting over to Sean, but we'll see. I mean, 4 days is a long time in Survivor, and who you're gonna vote for is never set in stone until Jeff reads those votes.
And Connor getting individual immunity was probably one of the worst things that could have had happen, because in my mind, he is public enemy #1 right now. But all's not necessarily lost. I had a good conversation with Phil just now, and I think I might be able to pull off some moves to keep the attention away from me between now and Sunday, which is the most important thing, because I imagine at some point my name is going to come up in the minds of everybody on my tribe as someone who most assuredly should not stay in the game for too much longer.
Sean, you betrayed me. You are ruthless. I know that you are conniving and able to lie to everybody's face. You may fool others with your white knight approach and your talks of loyalty, but I know the real Sean, the dagger in the dark, the one who waits for you to turn the back so he can stick the knife in. It's not going to work this time, Sean. I've got my eyes on you, and I won't be fooled by your petty schemes.
I don't feel great about my prospects for surviving for too much longer, so sometimes you just need to come out into nature and really find yourself. So I've broken off from the tribe to do some self-reflecting in beautiful Yosemite National Park. So on my journey today to harness the intellect that you need to survive in this game, I've been reflecting on some of the great intellectual minds of human history. Emerson, Thoreau, Twain. But one passage from the immortal TLC stands out. Don't go chasing waterfalls. I think I disagree on this one. I think I figured out a strategy for the next few days in my adventures out here. It's called Operation Keep All Attention Away from Sean at All Costs. And I think what that means is hopefully putting some pressure on Brian and redirecting pressure from other tribe mates onto either Phil or Rob as a diversion. To also quote the legendary TLC, I don't want no scrubs. I don't want some young, savvy, new player ruining any kind of game that I might be able to set up with any returning players. So Brian, I'm sorry, but it's probably you this week if I have my way about it. And Connor, you better hope you keep winning immunities, dude, because you have a massive target on your back.
This tribal council could shake out a billion different ways when we get to it. Right now, I have convinced Sean and Connor that I really would like to vote out Phil or Rob. And ideally, I would like to vote out Phil because Phil is more of a threat to me in my book in that he has a relationship as a couple and he's got Shannon. And then Shannon is connected with Krista and Zach, which are also a couple. And right now in my mind, I want to break up as many couples as I can before we get to a merge, because in my opinion, if there's a couple in a merge, then the alpha of that couple essentially just has double the votes. So in my mind, I'm trying to get rid of all the couples now.
I think the biggest thing that we have to consider kind of going forward as a trio, Sammy, Sean, and I, is who can we work with? What's going to happen when we go through this next tribal? Is Phil just going to jump back in with Shannon and Krista? Is that going to be an alliance we have to worry about? Is Rob going to stick with us? I mean, both of them say they want to work with us, but I mean, if I was in their position, I would be lying the entire time as well. So I don't really know what can be said about any of it.
Getting Sammy and Connor to vote out Brian is just not in the cards, it seems. They don't think Brian is that big of a threat, and as it turns out, Brian may not be as much of a threat as some other players in the game might have led me to believe to this point. So, it's time to do a little bit of scrambling. We still have some time between now and the vote tomorrow evening, but Operation Keep All Attention off of Sean at all possible costs is, I don't remember if that's the name or not. I don't know. I need to pick a shorter name for these things. Keeping the attention off of me is going to take some ongoing care and concern and cultivation, like watering a very delicate flower in a hostile, desolate environment. Hopefully that plant will bloom into a beautiful, glorious flower that I can take with me to the merge, assuming that happens after we do our votes on Sunday. Stay tuned because the next few hours are going to be nuts.
Sean is obviously, still someone who is suspect. He burned me last season, and we know how that worked out for Emily this year. But I don't think it's time to pull the trigger on Sean. Right now, he's got numbers. The Mogo Mogo are a very tight-knit group. Connor has not reached out to me at all. The guy basically blocked me messaging, so thanks, buddy. And Sammy, who was initially very suspect of talking to me, and she blew off my initial advances, has started to warm up. I gotta tell you, Sammy's a sweetheart. She seems to be someone that I can trust long term.
So much new information has come out. You don't know who you can trust. Phil told me that the entire Emily vote out was a lie. That they didn't really, or that Brian didn't really have an idol and play it, but instead they blindsided Emily, and that Brian doesn't have an idol. So now there's a potential of an idol still being in play. I don't know if I can trust Phil. I don't know if anything he's saying is true. I talked to Brian. He didn't mention anything about it. I'm just lost.
Here's the question. Knowing that there is possibly, and Brian really, he said, I don't know for sure, but I think there's a strong likelihood that Phil or Rob has the idol. That being said, since there's a strong likelihood of that, I have no idea how this is going to play out.
It sounds like Brian has separately come clean about the way Tribal Council went with Sean and Sammy. I think he may have made a mistake by leaving out Connor, because I came clean to Connor. I had a great conversation with Connor last night.
So, have a conversation with Phil. He tells me something. I go to Brian. He doesn't tell me anything. I go and talk to Rob. Rob shows me his Discord chat that he does not have an idol. So that hopefully makes things easier. But I don't know.
I don't know if I can trust Brian at this point. I really don't think I can trust Rob.
But if Rob and I say, look, you bring both of us to the merge, we can work together as the five of us. Whereas if you take one of us out, then the other one of us can go tell the other people, of the dirty secrets, and here's how we can work with you guys instead. So it's probably going to be more advantageous to do that, to take out Brian now, say what's up to the MARTA track behind me.
I've also realized that it's become a lot more difficult than I thought it'd be to remove emotions from the game. I feel like I don't want to vote out Rob or Phil because they seem like they've been honest with me. I feel like I've made a connection with them, and apart from moving forward in the game or strategy or anything, I almost just feel bad voting for people who seem to want to work with me and want to tell me the truth and give me the time of day. So
still nothing set in stone. Chaos is reigning supreme, but chaos is a ladder, and I'm ready to climb, baby. Let's go.
But hopefully it goes how I have set into motion, sparing Phil so I have the option to work with him post-merge, setting up a rapport with Rob so that I have the option to work with him post-merge and hopefully stay on the good side of that chaos, and then maintaining a strong connection with Connor and Sammy in the short term. Hopefully, I've played this right, and Brian's going home.
I'm so tired.
Do you see these dark circles? Do you see how tired I look? Well, it's finally Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday. It's a beautiful day for someone's dreams to be ripped to shreds. $50 is about to become non-existent for another 2 people. Let's go.
We'll now bring in members of the jury, Claire, Becca, Emily, and Karen voted out at last week's tribal council. Krista, you have now, after tonight, been to just as many tribal councils with Old Shapira as New Saboga. How has it been building trust with these swapped tribes?
Obviously, I'm with the entirety of my original tribe, so I feel like trust there was just like being maintained. And then, you know,
That you're not gonna...
like, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that like me and Zach are dating. Drew is my friend, so I honestly trust everyone on this tribe, so it really is going to be a really tough vote tonight. Like, there's not a person that's on the outs, or like it's been difficult.
Shannon, in a similar thought, as someone who's been to, after tonight, every tribal council so far, do you view that as a hindrance, or is that something to sort of bolster your resume at this point?
Yeah, I mean, if you can survive it, going to the end and being like, I survived every single tribal council is a huge accomplishment and thing to be able to pitch to the jury. The danger, of course, is every time you go to tribal council, you might not survive it. So you've got to take that risk.
Drew, on the other hand, this is your second tribal council and you are the only Mogo Mogo member or former Mogo Mogo member able to take votes tonight. How does that feel?
You know, everything was going real smooth on the Mogo Mogo tribe. And as soon as, the Mogo Mogo tribe was disbanded, it's kind of gone downhill. But, maybe people won't vote me off because they're thinking, third time's the charm. We need both the Mogo Mogo boys in this. So that's kind of my hope.
So you're just hoping at this point that it's not you tonight. Was there any strategizing on your part as like, maybe you can find a crack within this this new Saboga?
I think a lot of it is blind faith, For all I know, there's a lot of cracks, on the losing team, because they have to start asking themselves, is there a reason we keep losing these challenges? Maybe we need to start voting off us and, let the Mogo Mogo boys carry us. That's what I think. There's some dead weight on them. And, they're thinking maybe if we keep them around, we'll start winning.
Zach, you have individual immunity. Is that the necklace? Is that what you're wearing?
Yeah, it's this beautiful lanyard.
I can't help but notice when you were on Mogo Mogo, you were a key part in keeping that immunity streak alive. And right now you've been really helpful for New Saboga. Do you consider yourself a challenge beast?
I don't. I think once we get to any challenge involving endurance, you will see that I will be out pretty quickly, I think.
That's just such a lie.
Zach, you have to admit.
Jeff, I will continue answering your question, Jeff. I didn't interrupt any other members of our tribe when they were talking, and I hope they don't do the same to me. But no, I mean, I think a lot of the challenges that we've done so far have sort of played to my strengths, and pretty quickly they won't be. So right now, I think it's been good, but I don't anticipate this to last much longer.
Ben, you're a part of Old Shapira. You're, on the surface, a part of a tight alliance. Does that alliance have a leader, sort of weighing down or weighing the decisions more so than others and guiding the votes where they want it?
That's an excellent question. I would not say that we have like a unified leader or, sort of rally point. I think we obviously have two people who are big Survivor fans. They have a great deal of insight into how the game is played, and also between the two of them have a lot of different contacts among the people who are still playing the game. But I don't think that there's a single point of focus or kind of director of how votes or tribe strategy
strategies go. Certainly nobody really rallying the troops when it comes to tribal challenges. I can definitely speak to that.
Krista, have there been any talks about the future, about what's coming up after this vote?
Oh, absolutely. It's like all like, yeah, everyone is anticipating a merge, like, because this is a double elimination tonight, then we'll have 9. So we're like, the merge is probably gonna be at 9 or 8. So there's been a lot of talk about a merge. I mean, this vote really is like, as our tribe, we're down in numbers against the other tribe. Like, who do we want with us? And like, who do we think anyone is gonna kind of go on the other side? And like who's gonna stay with us? And like, how can we advance with the people that we're with? So,
Drew, your first tribal was last week. You were a part of a vote off. As someone who is new to the game, what does it take emotionally and psychologically to vote someone out?
I didn't really know the person I voted for, so it didn't really hurt too much. But to get voted off, I think that would hurt. That is something I'm not looking forward to.
You have to realize, though, you have to get to know these people you vote off, because in the end, they're the ones deciding who wins the game.
Yeah,
so you have to
that is
factor in the
true.
emotions.
But I'm thinking I'd rather get voted off by someone who doesn't know me than backstabbed by someone who does.
So I just want to see like a quick show of hands. Who thinks they have a chance of going home tonight? That is 2 nervous people and 3 very confident looking people. And that looks like it could be very revealing later on. With that, it is time to vote. DM me who you are voting for on Discord. Zach has individual immunity. You cannot vote for Zach. Everyone else has a shot at going home. Krista, you're up. I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so. I'll read the votes. First vote, Ben. Second vote, Drew. That's 1 vote Ben, 1 vote Drew. Third vote, Drew. That's 2 votes Drew, 1 vote Ben, 2 votes left. The 5th person voted out of Survivor Quarantine All-Stars and the 5th member of our jury. Drew, that's 3 votes. That's enough. You need to bring me your torch.
love you.
Drew, the tribe has spoken. Well, you voted out the one person who said maybe you should vote out people who were bad at challenges. Let's hope that doesn't bite you in the butt. Grab your torches, head back to camp. Good night.
So unfortunately, I got voted off. It's not surprising. I couldn't beat the trifecta. It was, probably just Zach and I left, and we couldn't muster the votes. We couldn't defect anyone. Zach had immunity, so of course it was me getting sent off. Kind of unfortunate, but it just makes sense. Maybe I'll pay people back when I'm a jury member.
Before we get started, for those of you who have not been to tribal council before, you should grab a torch, get it, and approach flame. Dip it in and get fire. This is part of the ritual at tribal council because in this game, fire represents your life. Once your fire is gone, so are you. And now we'll bring in the members of the jury. Claire. Becca is busy right now, so she's not here. Emily. Karen. And then a mysterious juror number 5, who we will reveal when this ends.
Krista, good to see you.
We are now in day 13, and some of you are attending tribal council for the first time. Sean, what does it feel like to be on Mogo Mogo, who's had such a long winning streak, and you've had security for much longer than others?
It feels pretty familiar, Tucker. This is kind of how my narrative went in season 1. And that's fine with me because at the end of the day, the name of the game is stay in the game. And I've been fortunate in that sense that I haven't been too exposed thus far. But obviously, for what that means tonight, I'm not feeling so great.
Connor, you, on the other hand, not only have made it this far without attending tribal council, you have individual immunity. You can't be voted for. You have safety longer than anyone else in the game. I think setting a Survivor Quarantine All-Stars record. How does that feel?
It definitely feels good coming new into the game. I was very nervous, not really knowing a lot of different people, not knowing how it was going to go. Really just wanted to make it through the beginning stages so I could play the big game when we all come into the merge. So I was glad with how everything kind of turned out. I think it does kind of make it a little bit difficult going forward, potentially making it to a final three, talking to a jury and having not gone to tribal council without immunity until a potential merge or until there are only 9 players left. But it's been a fun ride so far.
Is it a little scary? Like, do you feel like there's maybe a target getting put on your back because you've been so successful with these challenges?
I don't think there's a target on my back yet, just because I don't think I know all the players that well. I don't think I've interacted with everyone yet. But I think we'll just have to see once we get into a situation where I can work with other players.
Phil, when Connor mentioned the potential of a merge coming up, is that something that that you're thinking about at all?
I think it is something we're thinking about. To answer directly, it's not something that we're sure about, but most people are pretty convinced that it's either right around the corner or literally about to happen. I want to survive tonight. But assuming you survive tonight, and I think everybody here has got the same goal, immediately you have to survive tonight, and then you got to look ahead. And if the merge is right around the corner, then you have to be prepared for it. You have to have a plan.
Well, on the surface, as someone who has not been having these conversations, it looks like it could be 3 Saboga versus 3 Mogo Mogo. Is it that simple?
I think there's a lot of added layers of duplicity. I think most of the people in this game have either played before or have watched Survivor or are just competitive people and realize that there are a lot more dynamics to things than simple tribal lines.
Well, Phil brought up a good point. A lot of people have played this before, except I'm also counting there are 3 people here who have not played, 3 newcomers, 3 veterans. Is that something that's been talked about? Is there possibly like ways to work around tribal lines at this point?
I mean, absolutely. You know, there are so many sort of different ways in which you can divide up, you know, the ways in which the connections, the pre-existing connections or the existing connections, you know, facilitate, you know, a potential vote or an outcome. So, you know, as a good player, you should be thinking about all possible scenarios. And being the best player, I have thought about all possible scenarios. So I'm feeling pretty confident tonight.
Sammy, the downside to being on Mogo Mogo and winning so much is that you haven't had to vote someone out, and you don't know what that feels like emotionally to maybe vote for someone to leave the game. Is that impacting how you're planning to vote tonight at all?
I don't know if it's impacting how I'm planning to vote tonight, but it certainly is impacting my mental health. This has been a very stressful 24 hours. Everything I thought I knew about myself has just been slipping away. So I'm ready to get this over with.
Rob, Sammy says she's ready to get this over with, but she also has an idol that's good for her first 2 tribal councils she's attended. She's been lucky enough that this is her first one. Has that been a point of discussion amongst maybe who we should like put votes on or avoid putting votes on?
Well, I gotta say, I did not realize that idol was still active. So this is news to me. I thought
Thanks,
it was
Tucker.
first 2 tribals, which she did not attend. So love it. Love the surprises. Lots of twists this season. I'm sure we've got more to come. I'd say this, Sammy, you know, if things are, you know, if you think things are stressful now, this game's just heating up, baby. You gotta strap in and get ready for the ride. If you're not paying attention, it'll pass you by quick. So just get ready to have some more fun. I'm confident tonight, since you have the idol, you won't be going home. So yeah, we're in for a long run.
For those who don't have access to Mogo Mogo's Discord, there's some information I think that should be shared. It's a very dog picture friendly place, lots of pictures of nature, of hiking. It seems very wholesome. I'd love to be a part of it one day. But do you think, Connor, that can be maintained after a vote like tonight? Will there be a line in the sand, or will you be able to be unified after that? Will you still be posting pictures of dogs and Yosemite after this?
I don't know if we'll be posting a picture of Yosemite because I think Sean flies back tomorrow. But I'm hoping that dogs can continue into the whatever happens when we all come through this. I think we've kind of built a little tight-knit community, and we've been able to have honest conversations with one another, and it's just been kind of fun when we're not talking about strategy, or even when we are talking about strategy.
But if someone's blindsided tonight, it's going to be really hard to convince their allies to post a picture of their pug, potentially.
Well, if you have a heart of steel, you can overcome anything.
Brian, if all 3 former Saboga members can survive this, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I mean, it just boils down to relationships. I think it's what do the relationships look like? And I think, what you're talking about, with a merge, with, can you maintain all of this? It comes down to, and the best players do this, build those solid foundations of relationships. So, I mean, I think that it would be a great thing because I think the relationships that I had with Phil, with Rob, are solid as a rock. So let's go to a merge and let's continue to build that and just steamroll everything because that's what we're doing. Exactly. I'm not afraid of anything in this game. Bring on a 9-person, bring on a 12-person. Nothing.
Can't do 12 people. There's only like 10 left at this point. So
there's returners, right?
What?
Sean,
Brian had a good point. His relationships with Phil, with Rob, are rock solid. These are 2 people you voted out last season. How do past relationships and past voting, how does that haunt you, if at all?
I can't say that it doesn't haunt me because at the end of the day, last season, I didn't win. So clearly somewhere along the way, I didn't handle those relationships in a way that I needed to. But as it pertains to this season, I have come into every relationship in the game with an open mind and open ears and with the idea of being receptive to working with anyone on anything.
Sammy, what's the biggest factor impacting your vote tonight?
I think the biggest factor in my mind right now is what the game is going to look like post-merge and how I'm going to make the moves that I've been planning on making. So that's kind of been my thought process this whole time. Am I thinking too big picture? Perhaps. But that's how I've been making my decisions this week.
Rob, it kind of seems like right now, at least with this current iteration of Mogo Mogo, we have a little bit of a Tarantino standoff. No one's really revealing too much. Everyone seems really confident. It looks like it might come down to who makes the first move. How important is making a big move, making a splash right now?
Well, it's an interesting question. I love the big move. But as I learned last season, you do have to time it correctly. And I think, from the consensus that I've had with other people, the big move comes at the merge. And there's big threats out there. I'll name a couple. Krista, she's clearly devious. She's someone that can't be trusted, and she will bite you the moment you turn your back. Shannon Smith is Krista's sister. She plays the nice card. It's kind of like a good cop, bad cop scenario. She also needs to be dealt with. And I think Phil can agree with me there. Shannon has to go. So those are the big moves. Are they relying on us to come into the fold and be allies? Probably. Should they be thinking that way? Absolutely not. There is a firestorm coming. We are loading the guns and we are going to come strong. And our dog pictures and camaraderie is going to carry over. And they're going to see what we have when we get to the merge, and that's when the big moves are going to start falling.
It's looking like when you make a speech like that, it's a big speech, it's impassioned, you're naming names. Usually, maybe last season, you see people shy away or laugh at that. I'm seeing agreement from a lot of people in this tribe about what you're saying, so maybe you're right. Connor has individual immunity. You cannot vote for Connor. Everyone else is fair game. It is time to vote. When I say your name, please DM me who you want out of this game on Discord. Sammy, you're up. I'll tally the votes. All right, if anyone has a hidden immunity idol and you would like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Yeah, Tucker, give me just a second. Sorry, I just always want to do that. Carry on.
Okay. I'll read the votes.
Rob, I'm not even mad. That was great.
That was great. I love that.
It was funnier the first time.
Phil. Second vote. Brian. That's 1 vote Phil, 1 vote Brian. Brian. That's 2 votes Brian, 1 vote Phil, 3 votes left. Brian. That's 3 votes Brian, 1 vote Phil, 2 votes left. 6th person voted out of Survivor Quarantine All-Stars and the 6th member of our jury. Brian, that's 4. That's enough. Got to bring me your torch.
Good job, guys.
Brian, the tribe's spoken.
God.
Well, by the looks of a lot of faces, that was not a shocking vote at all, and maybe Mogo Mogo can be more unified than I thought. Grab your torches, head back to camp. Good night.
So as you can see behind me, my fire is out. I have no idea what the fuck happened. No idea as to what happened. I was blindsided. I mean, 5-1, I don't really know how to make sense of it. I don't know how it makes sense in terms of Connor, Sean, Sammy's game. I mean, best of luck to them going forward, letting Rob and Phil kind of keep going. I think it was a smart move on Phil and Rob's part. There really was never this idea of Saboga strong. We were really, ready to gun for each other. Tucker made the comment about it being a Mexican standoff, and yeah, I mean, I guess I was slow to the trigger, but I have no idea how that makes sense to Connor, Sean, and Sammy. So, I guess in the next couple of days, next week or so, they'll be sitting right here next to me, I guess. I mean, they're allowing, sort of the Smith family to run the game. So best of luck, I guess. I mean, hopefully when you guys get to Ponderosa, you can explain to me how this makes sense, because I have no idea. Rob and Phil, best of luck.